I just feel like everyone thinks that I have it all figured out, but I don't. Hello, so it is another fresh week here, and I'm gonna try to figure out today what I want to build for the rest of August, and I'm gonna try to finish the T3 clone tutorial. As someone who recently graduated and decided not to go into a job right away, but instead to pursue some of her ideas and goals, the journey has been pretty interesting. Earlier in this series, I had set the goal of building 3 projects in 3 months to help me build up confidence in my coding skills. And it's August now, which means it's time to start the second coding project. But before I got to dive into that, I ran into a few roadblocks. And I feel like I haven't made that much progress. I think I've also just been more distracted. I'm just in this really bad mood today. Multiple people had warned me that this tutorial was definitely going to take more than 3 hours to implement because of bugs, and they were completely right. I realized that my motivation was declining, and before I knew it, my momentum had completely stopped. I fell into tutorial hell. A state where you focus too much on watching videos and watching tutorials, but not actually building and doing the work. Sometimes when you feel like you're not progressing towards your goals, it's worth zooming out a little bit to understand why that might be the case. You can see it here. There's only 30 minutes left. And then I'm questioning if I even want to finish this. Like, is it even worth it? And it's tough because there's that internal battle of like, okay, there's only like 30 minutes, just like stick through it and finish it, even though I know that 30 minutes is gonna be more than 30 minutes. Or do I actually just go ahead and start building the new project? Because I might as well do stuff that is fun and makes me feel like I'm actually moving towards my goals. Because right now I feel like I'm not actually learning anything. I feel like I'm just doing it to do it. There's this thing called the sunk cost fallacy, and it's when we continue to do something even though it's not adding value to us anymore, but we do it just because we feel like we have to, since we already invested so much time and effort. The beautiful thing though is that we have the power to change things. So I decided not to finish that coding tutorial. It's kind of like reading books. There was a point in time where I wouldn't read a new book until I finished the current book because I thought that I had to finish it. But in reality, if you don't like a book, you don't have to keep reading it. In fact, you're only holding yourself from reading even more. So after that week, I decided to focus on regaining momentum. Alright, so it's Friday now, and yesterday I decided to scrap the tutorial. So that means today is officially day 1 of building out the new project for August. I'm really excited because the goal, or like the end goal, would be some kind of shared brain where it's like, okay, you know what, that's not even descriptive at all. Let me rephrase. Basically, it's something where if you have an idea or something that you want to work on, it will give you the first step. And it basically takes a question-based approach of helping you understand your unknowns and just asking you questions that you might want to consider when starting a new project. Whether that's who, what, where, when, how, or more personal-based questions. After talking to a few other people at BuildSpace, I realized everyone has their own frameworks for thinking through ideas. And so I'm thinking it'd be really cool to have this hub of different frameworks that people can use. And then when you type in your idea, you can see different questions or different prompts or like next steps based off of each of those different frameworks. So yeah, we're gonna try building that, see what happens. Gaining momentum doesn't have to be a hard thing. In fact, you should make it extremely easy for you to win. After all, your goals don't have to be small, but the steps you take to get there can be. For me, making progress came in the form of getting advice from friends.
Good chat with a friend is just such a great reset.
That is true. Does it make sense to think about database things that you do in the future, or should you just think about what you do right now?
Always what you do right now. If you read any like practical engineering blogs, they will always tell you don't build things just in case.
Sitting down and finally doing the work and sharing my progress with people, no matter how much work I got done. So I basically made this tweet just saying, hey, I have this idea, I don't really know what it's gonna be yet, but what do you think is the hardest part in getting started a new project? And a lot of people responded actually. Then a few days later, so I quote tweeted it and got even more feedback because I said, okay, cool, this is a sneak peek of
what it looks like, what do you think it will do, and again, a lot of people guessed, and this was really cool feedback.
This helped get me back on my feet and feeling like I was actually progressing again. And that is something that I think is really important. If you're ever feeling stuck, just remember that for any movement to gain momentum, you must start with a small action. When it comes to our goals, all we need to do is sustain momentum. The more we see our progress, the more motivated we are to continue. After all, it's not about speed, it's about momentum.